Good evening, and pull your chair in close to the fire, because tonight's Campfire Stories takes us a long way from home, up to the black spruce country of New Brunswick, to a crooked little river called the Dungarvon. This one is fiction mostly, though the old folks up there will swear on their mothers it happened. It is a story about a young man, a lumber camp, and a sound that no living throat should ever be able to make.
A sound. Marty, you had me at black spruce country and lost me at no living throat. Go on.
Well, picture the deep woods better than 150 years back. Deep winter, the snow past your knees and the cold sharp enough to crack the trees at night. The men were cutting timber miles from anywhere, and every camp like that had one soul who was worth more than all the rest put together. The cook. This one was a young fellow named Ryan, barely 20 years old, handsome, always singing, and the men loved him for it.
Let me guess. Too good for this world.
You have heard this before. Ryan kept a money belt cinched round his waist, every dollar he had saved for a wedding come spring, and he never took it off, not even to sleep. One grey morning the crew tramped off to the cut, leaving Ryan alone in the camp with only the boss, a hard, closed sort of man nobody much liked.
And I don't suppose the boss cared for singing.
When the men came back at dusk, Ryan was lying on the cabin floor, cold as the stove that had gone out beside him. The boss said the boy had taken a sudden fit, dropped where he stood, dead before anyone could help. Terrible thing, he said. Terrible sudden thing.
And the money belt?
Gone. Every dollar of it. The boss had no answer for that. Only a black look and a raised voice, and a young man does not usually die of a fit and lose his life savings in the same afternoon. The crew knew it. But it was 30 below. They were far from any law, and the boss was the man who paid them.
So nobody said a word?
Not out loud. The ground was frozen iron hard, so they could dig no proper grave. They hacked out a shallow hole among the roots, laid the boy in it with no box and no prayer worth the name, and heaped the snow and stones back over him. And that, Carol, is where the quiet part of the story ends.
Oh, good. I was worried it might stay reasonable.
That very first night after the lamps were out, it started. A scream came rolling out of the timber, high and tearing, more than any wolf, more than any wildcat, a sound with something almost like words buried in it. Then whoop after whoop, on and on, circling the camp in the dark, close and then far and then close again.
Wind. Cold air moving through a tight stand of trees will howl like the end of the world. I've heard it off the river here.
The men said the same the first night. So they went out with lanterns to find the poor animal caught somewhere. There was nothing. No tracks in that fresh snow but their own, going out and coming back. And all the while the whooping went on right over their heads, out of empty air.
No tracks.
No tracks. Night after night it came, always worst near that shallow grave, until grown men who feared nothing on this earth would not step outside after dark. Within the week they loaded their gear and left the whole camp standing empty in the snow, and no crew would work that ground again. The place got a name that stuck for good. The Dungarvon Whooper.
All right, that's a proper story. So how does anybody make it stop? Somebody must have, or you'd be telling me it's still going.
For years it did not stop. It got so bad the settlers down the river could not sleep, and at last they sent for a priest. He walked into that abandoned clearing with his book and his holy water, stood over the sunken spot in the ground, and he read the blessing out loud into the trees, and he laid the boy's restless soul to rest at last.
And it worked.
The whooping stopped. From that night the camp was silent. Ryan had his prayer 20 years too late, but he had it. And that would be a fine, tidy ending, Carol, if not for the thing the old rivermen still tell you, quiet when the fires burned low like this one.
I'm almost afraid to ask.
They say the blessing only quieted the grave. It never quieted the woods. And on the worst nights of winter, when the wind comes tearing down the Dungarvon out of the black spruce, you can still hear it, far off, a whoop and a scream rolling over the snow, looking for a wedding that never came.
You hear that, Marty? That's the furnace kicking on. That is a furnace. Good night, everybody. And if the wind picks up tonight, do us all a favor and blame the trees.